This video is part of the Pond Basics playlist. The last video was on choosing a pond location. In this video I'll talk about the choices of liner or other containers. If you don't already know me, my name is Kev, and the aim of my channel is to help people build and maintain ponds without spending a fortune. If that sounds like something that interests you, you might like to subscribe and check out my website, Ozponds.com. So I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but if you're new to ponds or filtering water, it's great to start with something small. This will help you learn the basics without making a ton of costly mistakes. So for a small pond, we can really use anything that will hold water. I consider a small pond anything from 100 litres to 1,000 litres. We can use decorative pots, plastic tubs, stock troughs, pre-formed ponds, really anything that will hold water and can be exposed to direct sunlight. If using plastic tubs, choose something that's UV stabilised. You don't want the plastic to go brittle and break apart. You may also find that you need to reinforce it with some framing just to stop it from bulging out. Even ugly IBC containers can be made to look pretty with some old pallet wood or some similar cladding. Decorative pots are good as they tend to look nice already, and you can seal the holes with something like aquatic putty to make it watertight. Stock troughs are great as they're strong and built for the outdoors. They also tend to hold more water. I'm turning this old concrete stock trough into a pond for some rainbow fish. Preformed ponds are cool as they usually have shells built in. They're also designed to go in the ground. So these are perfect for people in areas where burrowing animals would potentially put a hole in a traditional pond liner, or even people looking to keep burrowing aquatic animals. Where I live, the crayfish burrow, so I've always been too scared to put them in a liner pond. But if you want to go big, or you need more flexibility, you want to use a pond liner. There's quite a few options depending on where you live, but the most common that I see are PVC, then LLPD or HDPE. Both are made from polyethylene. And EPDM, this is a type of synthetic rubber. For my ponds, I prefer EPDM rubber, but the polyethylene and PVC can be much cheaper. I had some scrap HDPE and EPDM laying around, so I thought I'd put them to the test for this video. The HDPE is the darker one, it's much thinner, and the EPDM is thicker. Here's the HDPE, and as you can see, I can't break it by pushing down on this piece of pipe. The EPDM stretches, but it doesn't break either. No hole was made in either one. So then I got a jagged rock, shoved it in the end of the pipe and tried again. Again the HDPE first, it pushed the rock further down into the pipe, but still it didn't break or tear. Now the EPDM, it stretches so much, but I still can't get a hole. Lastly, I tried a sharp pair of secateurs, straight through the HDPE, but also straight through the EPDM. The test really surprised me as the HDPE was far more durable than I'd previously given it credit for. I will still be using EPDM on any of my ponds with large rocks and pebbles, just because it's so stretchy and pliable, but everyone needs to make their own choices. I'll put some links in the description if you want to check prices. There's all different thicknesses of EPDM, and you should probably always get as thick as your budget will allow. If the pond is relatively small, and it's not going to have rock or pebble inside, then I'm happy to go with the cheaper liners. If buying a PVC liner, just make sure it says fish safe as they sometimes add chemicals to make it more flexible. I also like to use a non-woven geotextile underlayment to further help protect the liner, and if the ground was rocky, I would also use sand. Just like the rubber liner, the thicker the geotextile the better, but on a small pond in good soil, without rock and pebble, I think it's unnecessary. At the end of the day, the liner of the pond is pretty critical. If we can't hold water, we don't have a pond. On my large ponds, I won't skimp on the liner, as moving all the rock, creating filters, takes a lot of time and money, and having a leak would be a gut punch. And if you're wondering how much liner and geotextile you need, it's the width plus 2 times the depth, plus some playroom, and then the length plus 2 times the depth, and again some playroom. I like to allow at least a foot. We use metric here, so I tend to keep 1/2 metre each side for playroom. On my dream pond, I sandwiched the liner between 2 sheets of geotextile, so I ordered double the amount. This was just for insurance, as it's too big to rebuild, and I'm getting older every day. Another important aspect of an in-ground pond with rocks is shelving. Shelves provide a solid base for your large rocks to sit on, and they create different depths or zones for aquatic plants. So when you're digging the pond, consider the types of plants you want and the size of the rock that you'll be using. I usually find I like to have 3 shelves. So on a 3-foot deep pond, each shelf is a foot deep, thereabouts. I do have a PDF on my website that has formulas that I like to use when creating a natural looking pond, liner size, rock calculations, etc. I'll put a link to that in the description. It also has formulas for creating bog filters, intake bays, calculating water in motion, things like that. Anyway, that's a nice segue into the next video, which will be on pond filtration. I hope this video was helpful. If you made it this far, well done. I hope I didn't put you to sleep. Thanks for watching, and feel free to tickle the thumbs up button. See ya.